Sup world? Let's go and talk about how the Capricorns relate with every sign. Alright, now let's start off how the Capricorns relate with their fellow Earth signs, which they should relate very well with because of the similar energy. But let's go and start off how the Capricorns relate with other Capricorns. Now, two Caps together do relate very well, of course, but what makes them relate even better is that they understand that each other struggle socially with other people and friends. So them knowing this about each other, they're always gonna have someone to count on when they're struggling socially or when they're having trouble with friends. All right, two Caps together is gonna have a strong enough understanding for each other to always have each other's back, even if they're struggling socially with other people. Where they won't connect is if they both have this are trying to fight for the same status, or they're both trying to fight for the same position. This is where two Capricorns won't get along. But outside of that, two Capricorns together will get along very well. Next, we got the Tauruses. Now, Capricorn and Taurus together can relate very well because Taurus are very strong at just relating with anybody, and also because of the fact that the Taurus are big on being secure and stable people. All right, that's what the Capricorn is all about as well. So them two together can relate very well. Only difference is that Capricorn may just be a much harder worker than the Taurus at times. So if the Capricorn is focused on your career and the Taurus not, then this is where they won't get along. All right, but besides that, this should be an easy friend for the Capricorns. Next and last earth sign is the Virgos. Now, the Virgo and Capricorn together also relate very well, especially in the work department, right? If the Virgo and Capricorn are in a similar career, these two will get along great, right? These two will be like best friends because the Virgos also are very much hard worker in whatever career or field they're in. All right, now if they're competing, then this might be an issue, but outside of that, if they're in a similar field, similar career, or they have a similar status, then these two will get along great. Only reason why they don't get along is if the Virgo is too like fault finding for the Capricorn. Right, the Virgo is able to point out a lot of negative things about the Capricorn. This is where they may clash, but outside of that, the Virgo and the Capricorn also will get along great. So I say the Capricorns get along best with other Capricorns, then Taurus, and lastly a Virgo. But they do get along great with all their fellow earth signs, of course. Okay, now let's move on to the air signs, who they should have a decent relationship with because the air signs operate with a lot of logic, and the Capricorns really appreciate that. But let's go ahead and start off with the Aquariuses. A Capricorn and Aquarius together do get along very well, surprisingly, really because these two are ruled by the same planet, so they do go about life and how they operate in very, very similar ways. They're both going to be very structured and disciplined. It's just that Aquarius is going to be a little more logical, and Capricorn is going to be a little more practical. But they will get along very well, especially if they have the same interest in career, or if their status are kind of like in the same place or in the same energy. All right, they will get along even better if that's the case. All right, but outside of that, where they may not get along is that the Aquarius may care too much about other people. Aquarius may be a little better socially than the Capricorn, so this is where they may struggle to get along. But outside of that, like I said, they're gonna have a lot in common, surprisingly more than most people would think. Next air sign we got is the Geminis. Now, Capricorn and Gemini together will struggle to have a strong or deep connection with each other, just because the Geminis are very much social people, and this is an area of life where the Capricorns really struggle at is socially. So if this relationship at best will be very much surface level, but they will struggle to have a deep connection. But if it's not surface level, they will have to be in a similar career field or just similar status once again with the Capricorn for them to even get along a little bit. All right, but outside of that, the Geminis and Capricorns will struggle to have a deep connection or a strong relationship. Next and last air sign is the Libras. Now, the Capricorn and Libra will get along fairly well, mainly because the Libra also carry a lot of structure, a lot of discipline, also comes with a lot of good organization skills that the Capricorn will appreciate. They can actually learn a lot from the Libras, especially if they're in the same career path. All right, so these two will get along fairly well. Where they may not get along is if the Libra is once again very strong in the social area where the Capricorn isn't. All right, so they may not be able to build a deep connection because of this. If the Capricorn is socially weak, but if they're not, then they will have a fairly decent relationship. But overall, I would say the Capricorns get along best with the Aquariuses, then the Libras, and lastly the Geminis for the air signs. Next up, water signs, which also should be a decent relationship for the Capricorns because you do find water and earth, making both of these signs very reserved people. But let's start with the Pisces. A Capricorn and Pisces together can get along fairly well, mostly because the Pisces are very good at adapting to other people. So this kind of helps the Capricorn who have bad social skills. So with them being able to deal with the Pisces, their bad social skills are kind of hidden, so they do kind of get along fairly well with the Pisces, especially if they have similar career paths. Now, if they don't have similar career paths, then the Pisces may be too emotional or sensitive for the Capricorn to deal with. But if they do have similar career paths, then the Pisces sensitivity and emotions can help the Capricorn very well because that's an energy they lack. All right, so really they should have a fairly decent relationship just because the Pisces are great at adapting. Next water sign is the Cancers. Now Capricorn and Cancer together can get along fairly well. Although they are opposite signs, they both love to strive for success, especially if they have a personal or a strong business going on. They do cater a lot to whatever they call theirs, all right? So the Cancer are very much big on nurturing their business. The Capricorn are very much big on just working hard on their business, okay? So both of these, as long as they have similar career paths, they will get along fairly well. If not, then the Cancer may just be a little too much sensitive, once again, for the Capricorn. Next and last water sign is the Scorpios. Now, the Scorpio and Capricorn together can get along very well because these two have similar energy when it comes to their passions or being go-getters, all right? These two have very similar work ethic when it comes to the things that they care a lot about, whether it's their career or just their status. These two will work hard in a similar way. So this is where they get along great. But if the Scorpio is too much in their own heads for the Capricorn, then they will struggle to get along. They'll just work hard in different directions, all right? So overall, when it comes to the water signs, I say Capricorns get along best with the Scorpios, then the Cancers, and then the Pisces. Now we got the fire signs, which may not be a strong relationship for the Capricorns due to fire burning earth, and also with the fire signs is being a little too energetic for the reserved Capricorns. But let's start off with the Aries. The Aries and the Capricorns together can get along very well if they have similar career paths, once again, because the Aries are very much hard working and also go-getters when it comes to the things that they care about. If they have a similar status with the Capricorns, then they're gonna really compete for the same status, and they're gonna do a good. They're gonna get along fine doing that. But if they're not, if they have different career paths, then the Aries just may be too energetic and just too spontaneous for the Capricorn, who's a very much premeditated person. All right, so that's really how the Capricorns get along with Aries. Next fire sign up is the Leos. Now, the Capricorn and Leo together can only get along if the Leos are helping the Capricorn get some type of attention or just helping them on their success when it comes to their career or status. Outside of that, if the Leo can't help the Capricorn, then they may just not be able to get along because Leos are very much fun and pleasure-seeking people, and the Capricorns are just too much disciplined and structured people to be able to deal with the Leo on a normal basis, all right? So it will have to be based on how the Leo can help the Capricorn. Outside of that, they probably won't get along too well. Next and last fire sign is the Sagittarius. Now, Capricorn and Sag together will only get along if they have similar faith and belief. Outside of that, they really don't have a strong reason to get along. Sags are very much big on being free-spirited and just being jovial, happy people, while the Capricorns are very much structured, disciplined, and very serious people. So they really won't mesh too well with each other unless they have similar faith and belief. So when it comes down to all the fire signs, I say Capricorns get along best with the Aries, then the Leos, and lastly the Sagittarius. And that wraps it up. Peace.